Hello, tonight I'm going to try to finish off some of the conversations here so I can move them along and probably start the Dalish elf quest line. If you're watching this at a later time, please consider giving me a follow so I can reach my goal. Thank you.
What's on your mind?
I was just thinking about being a Grey Warden.
Is something troubling you?
No, I think it was the best thing that happened to me.
You are one of the 2 surviving Grey Wardens in Ferelden. You defend all of us, and much rests on your shoulders. It may not mean much to you, but thank you for having the courage to continue to fight.
I'll be ready when the time
And
comes.
that gives me hope. Have you heard much about the Grey Wardens of old?
I know they soar through the skies on griffins, which I hope are actually going to be in the next game in some way, please.
Griffins. Alas, that seems to be the only thing people remember from the tales. The mighty flying mounts that bore the Grey Wardens into battle.
Yeah, well, I wish I had a griffin.
Unfortunately, they've all passed back into the Maker's hand. So that wish will have to go unfulfilled. It was said that watching the Wardens ride in on their white griffins was enough to rouse a weary heart and put the dance back in the step of an old man. The Grey Wardens were powerful, feared and respected, but they also inspired the common people. I remember a tale that was told to me many years ago. The blight had ravaged the land for months, and the armies of the great kings had amassed for one last stand. As the sun burst through the clouds that boiled and churned in the dark sky above, it illuminated a vast, seething horde of darkspawn, with the archdemon at its head. And it was then, when courage seemed to fail, and all lost to death and despair, that the Grey Wardens came. They arrived with the beating of wings like mighty war drums and stood before the armies of men.
Yep, I'm all about the griffins.
Now listen to the rest of the story. The Grey Wardens, grim and fearless, marched forth, ever between the men and the encroaching darkspawn. They formed a shield of their own bodies and held that line until the archdemon was dead and the last darkspawn lay trampled in the dirt. And then, demanding neither reward nor recognition for their sacrifice, the Grey Wardens departed. When the clouds finally rolled back and the sun shone full upon the blighted ground, the great kings knew that they had lost no men, and none of their blood had been spilled.
I like happy endings.
This is a tale about no battle the Grey Wardens have fought, and yet about them all. They have always defended us from the Darkspawn, taking losses so we do not have to. People may have forgotten over the centuries, but nothing has changed. This knowledge has been blessing and burden to Grey Wardens past, and now it shall be your blessing and your burden. What's on your mind? It is no trouble.
What do you need?
I'd like to ask
away.
you something. Never mind.
Here I am.
Care to answer some questions?
This should be good. Go ahead.
Why did you want to leave the crows
Well,
exactly?
now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin, after all, is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So, if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it?
But what would you
Now
rather
that you
do?
mention it, I am not entirely certain. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased. For 3 sovereigns, I'm told. Which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder. And if you do poorly in your training, you die.
That sounds
Oh, I
awful.
don't know about that. The crows who are actually good enough to survive come to enjoy some of the benefits. In Antiva, being a crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth. Gets you women. And men. Or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining.
I
As
think I
for what I'll
understand.
do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go.
Won't the crows eventually find you?
Eventually can be a very, very long time, if one plays one's cards right. Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so.
Your dog is filthy. I can smell him 50 yards off.
Good, he will fill our enemies with stench.
That may be so, but all the same, I would like your permission to bathe him.
Bathe, can't you just wave your staff and make
You
him
know
clean?
that's not what we use magic for. Just make him sleep over on the other side of the camp. With Alistair. With any luck, that will keep all the stench confined to one small area.
Here I am.
I want to discuss something
this should
personal.
be good. What would you like to discuss?
Never mind.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
Tell me a little about Antiva.
You wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh like this Ferelden. In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes.
And it has
Every land
assassins.
has its assassins. Some are simply more open about their business than others. I hail from the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable?
Of course, my mother was better than any gem.
You have me there, indeed. I, for one, can make no such claim, as I never laid eyes on the woman. You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most.
This I
I
have
mean
to
the
hear.
smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home more than anything else.
You sound like you've been away from home
Oh,
forever.
not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in a store window. Finest Antivan leather. Perfect craftsmanship. But I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no?
Your helm is still there, Zevran.
And it's a comforting thought. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a beautiful Grey Warden, a woman who then spares my life? I could not.
You need to make the most of where
Quite right
you
you
are.
are. I see the Grey Wardens do not recruit fools. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Curse it, creatures! Ah! Let's get started.
Like, wow. What time?
That was interesting. And draining.
What was that? Did you summon
I
the spirit?
called forth the spirit that sustains me. so that it could lend us aid. I did not realize it would take this much out of me. It seemed a good idea at the time, if a little rash. I think it may have weakened the spirit a little.
That makes
Anyway,
sense.
I feel quite all right now. And it seems that my little trick could be useful in a pinch.
You know
I
yourself
promise
best.
I'll be careful. And thank you. Your concern is touching.
What now?
Hello. Darkspawn, destroy the fiends.
What's on your mind?
Nothing? I didn't even know I did, R. Nothing. I should never
It's no
stream.
trouble.
Stop right there, outsider. The Dalish have camped in this spot. I suggest you go elsewhere, and quickly.
Oh, Actually, I've been looking for
I
the
find
Dalish.
that hard to believe. What business could we Dalish possibly have with a group like yours?
I'm a Grey Warden. I wish to speak to
Grey
your leader.
How do I know you're telling the truth?
You'll have to take my
I
word
suppose
on
that
it.
a lie wouldn't gain you much benefit. I shall bring you to the Keeper. In the camp, I suggest you keep your hands to yourself, and remember that our heirs are still trained on you. Follow me.
I see we have guests. Who are these strangers, Mithra? I have precious little patience and less time to spend on outsiders today.
This one claims to be a Grey Warden and wishes to speak with the clan. I thought it best to leave the decision to you.
That was wise of you. Masirinus, Mithra, you may return to your post.
Manuvinen, Keeper.
Now, allow me to introduce myself. I am Zathrian, the keeper of this clan, its guide and preserver of our ancient lore. And you are?
My name is Becky. A pleasure to meet you.
Manners. From a Shemlin. Interesting. What might be your mission here? Have you come to spread news of the Blight? I had already sensed the corruption spreading in the south. The existence of the Blight is not news to me. I would have taken the clan north by now, had we the ability to move. Sadly, as you can see, we do not.
Yes, it seems like you've had your own troubles. What are the odds?
I imagine you are here regarding the treaty we signed centuries ago. Unfortunately, we may not be able to live up to the promise we made. This will require some explanation. Please, follow me.
Yikes.
The clan came to the Brazilian forest 1 month ago, as is our custom when we enter this part of Ferelden. We are always wary of the dangers in the forest, but we did not expect the werewolves would be lying in wait for us. They ambushed us, and though we drove the beasts back, much damage was done. Many of our warriors lie dying as we speak. Even with all our magic and healing skill, we will eventually be forced to slay our brethren to prevent them from becoming beasts. The Blight's evil must be stopped, but we are in no position to uphold our obligations. I am truly sorry.
There are actual werewolves in the
There
forest?
was a time in Ferelden's history when werebeasts roamed the lands in great numbers. Spirits possessed animals and turned them into horrific monsters. The humans warred against and destroyed these creatures. No doubt their tales of those days grow ever more inaccurate.
Werewolves are beasts not unlike abominations, possessed wolves driven mad.
The werebeasts are not all gone from this land, and the ones that stalk the Brazilian forests are proof of this.
Is there no way to
The
help you,
affliction
man?
is a curse that runs rampant in their blood, bringing great agony and then ultimately either death or a transformation into something monstrous. The only thing that could help them must come from the source of the curse itself, and that would be no trivial task to retrieve.
I am good at non-trivial
Within
tasks.
the Brazilian forest dwells a great wolf. We call him Witherfang. It was within him that the curse originated, and through his blood that it has been spread. If he is killed and his heart brought to me, perhaps I could destroy the curse. But this task has proven too dangerous for us. I sent some hunters into the forest a week ago, but they have not returned. I cannot risk any more of my clan.
Have you considered seeking outside
From
help?
whom? The children of the stone? The Shemlin? Do you truly think they have time to spare for us?
You said you could perhaps destroy the curse?
There is no guarantee that this will work, as I suspect. But it's the only hope we have left.
I'll find this Witherfang
I must
for you.
warn you that more than werewolves lurk in the Brazilian forest. It has a history full of carnage and murder, you see. Where there is so much death, the veil separating the spirit realm from our own becomes thin, allowing spirits to possess things, living or dead. But if you can indeed help, then I wish you luck.
I have some
Make them
questions. for
quick,
you.
if you please. I have much to do here. My apprentice Lanaya or Sayrel, the clan's storyteller, could provide you with answers just as easily.
How do I find Witherfang? Do you have any
Watch
advice?
for the white wolves. They are his eyes and ears in the forest.
Tell me more about this curse the hunters
There is
suffer
not
from.
much to say. It stemmed originally from Witherfang, but now any werewolf may infect someone with it.
So did all werewolves everywhere stem from Witherfang?
No. The ones from this forest, however, do.
So if a werewolf bites me, then I will become
It is
infected?
possible, but not guaranteed. The only way to protect against the curse is not to be bitten.
How do you know if you've been infected
You
by
will
the
know
curse?
within a matter of days. You will begin to sweat and vomit, and most tellingly, your temper will become wild and uncontrollable. If that happens to you, you should seek out Witherfang even more swiftly. Your mission at that point will be rather personal.
How did this curse
That
start?
is a long tale I do not have time to tell. Ask Sayrel about it if you wish.
I want to ask you
Go
something
on,
else.
then. I
should
must
go.
return to caring for my people. Creator's speed on your way.
Underanitation, Grey Warden. My name is Lanaya. I am Zathrian's first, what you might call an apprentice, perhaps. I've been studying under the Keeper all my life. I am a bit curious of the outside world. Do you mind if I ask you a question or two?
If you
I
like, go
hear the
ahead.
human cities are very large, thousands upon thousands of souls, all packed together in their houses. Is that true?
Yes, some are larger than the
How
eye can
very
see.
loud that must be with everyone talking all at once. I try to imagine those of our people living in such a place, surrounded by walls of stone and indifference. It is a difficult thought.
They are used to it, just like the
Being
humans are.
accustomed to pain and suffering does not make it any less tragic. It is said that one day we will have a land of our own. We Dalish gather the ancient wisdom in preparation for this. When that day comes, all elves, even those who have forgotten, will reclaim their former glory. I have a question, if it's not too impolite to ask. Do your people regret what they did to ours?
I wonder if that'll be a part of the story for the next game, too. Like the Dalish elves all gathering up to help. I won't spoil it. Some of us do. Not all humans are the
see.
same.
That is difficult for our people to accept. Even if only some were in favor of what was done to us, the rest did nothing to stop it. A poet once wrote of them, before the fall of the Dales. Like dragons they fly, glory upon wings. Like dragons, they savage, fearsome, pretty things. But you don't need me to quote poetry to you. Forgive me. Perhaps you have some questions of your own.
What can you tell me about Zathrian?
Nothing that you could not ask Zathrian himself. He is the keeper of this clan and has been for a very long time. He is also a very good man who has lost much. The Dalish are everything to him, and he would do anything to protect them.
Lost much? What has he lost?
Lost his family. A very long time ago. I don't know the story, but I understand the circumstances were horrific.
Tell me more about
I'm
yourself.
hardly anyone special, I assure you. If I seem different from the rest of my clan, it's only because I was born amongst humans. I came to the Dalish at a very young age, but I've always retained my curiosity about the world I came from.
How did you come to the Dalish if you were
My
so young?
parents were servants to a human merchant whose caravans plied the southern routes. One day, bandits killed him, and my parents both. I was the only survivor, just a young girl, and the bandits took me. I was their servant for several years.
Ugh. I'm sorry, it must have been horrible.
Was. Though long years of reflection have allowed me to come to terms with it, to put them in perspective. I can only imagine what would have happened had the clan not saved me from them. I owe them my life for that, and more.
You said the Dalish rescued you
The
from
bandits killed a scout when the clan passed near their camp. When the clan discovered him, Zathrian came looking for his killers. He followed their tracks for almost a month, and when he finally caught up to us, he fell on the bandits like a terror. No one could stop him. I sat there and I watched him attack them in a blur, and I reveled in every blow. When he saw me, the fury in his eyes turned to pity. He took me back to the clan, and I've been here ever since.
Didn't you have a family you could
It's
return
possible
to?
I might have had some, maybe many. Zathrian offered to take me back, but I had no idea where I was from, and I wanted to stay with the man who rescued me. The clan is my family. Any others out there? It's best they believe that little girl died with her parents. For now, the clan is all I need. My old world could not have offered me all this, and the knowledge of a keeper as well. Perhaps one day, when I am keeper, I might inquire out of curiosity. I'm not sure what lies down that road except pain, however.
How did you become
I am
a
not
keeper?
a keeper. I am Zathrian's first. Though because I was not born into the clan, becoming his first was very difficult. We Dalish have old traditions. The clans come from the ranks of the nobility that once ruled the Dales, you see. The keepers of those old clans have the strongest and purest blood that reaches back to the days of Arlathan. I had to compete against the other candidates for first, to be better than them in everything, simply because I was not of the old blood.
You must be proud of your
I
accomplishments.
am. The ceremony where Zathrian anointed me as his first was the proudest day of my life. The clan has placed great trust in me. One day, I will lead them and be the one who secures our future.
Why are the Dalish so
They have
hostile?
reason. Since the days of Arlathan, my people have been either subjugated or homeless.
What is this Arlathan?
It
you
was our
mentioned?
ancestral home, long ago when the humans first came to these lands. We were free then, and immortal. We did not know how to deal with the humans, and in the end, they turned their power against us and destroyed Arlathan. Our ancestors were enslaved, and our culture lost forever.
Did they? I really like stories where the past is so far back that people can't remember, and then they find out what really happened, and they're like, oh my god. Elves were
They
immortal
died,
then?
but not of an aged body as other races do. Not until the humans came. According to the legends, association with humans caused us to quicken. Our blood sped, and we began to age. So we avoided them naturally. And then we were enslaved by them for 1,000 years. And in so doing, we all were quickened permanently and our immortality destroyed. Or so the old tales say.
But you could get your lifespan
In
back now.
time and with seclusion. We Dalish have lengthy lifespans, and they will get longer. Zathrian himself has lived many centuries, though that is unusual even for us.
But the elves were eventually
Yes,
freed, right?
after a millennium of slavery, Andraste herself freed our people. She who was your maker's chosen.
But you don't worship
We
the
worship
maker.
the creators, as we always have. We give thanks to Andraste for her part in our freedom, but we do not worship her or her god.
Does Arlathan
Not to
still
my
exist?
knowledge. According to the old tales, the human mages sank Arlathan into the ground, crushing it beneath the rock.
Didn't
The
Arlathan fight
Tevinter
back?
Imperium was a force to be reckoned with. It was ruled by mages with powerful blood magic. Though Arlathan fought, they lost.
I can see why you resent humans
Shemlin, we
then.
call them. Quick children. I suppose it takes a certain arrogance to look upon another people as children, no? Perhaps we should be more heedful of our own role in Arlathan's loss. Even so, it was a bitter lesson to learn. One we are not grateful for.
Is there no way to get on your clan's
It
good side?
requires an individual to prove he is not the outsider we have come to expect. Your own task to help our clan is certainly a step in the right direction.
Your homeland was called the
That
Dales,
was our
I thought.
second homeland. Our first was the great city of Arlathan. The Dales came when they were freed from enslavement. Elves everywhere journeyed hundreds and thousands of miles to the Dales, eager to start their lives anew. They called it the Long Walk. They reached the Dales and made it their own. And one day it was taken from us too, and you wonder why we are hostile.
But I'm not responsible for what's been done
Aren't
to the
you?
elves.
You're human, and to many of them, you represent the humiliations our people have suffered for generations. You may not have been personally responsible, but such feelings are not easily overruled by logic or fairness.
You are
I was
hostile.
not born here, so I see things differently from the others. Still, I do not blame them for what they feel. Perhaps this may change one day, but I believe the humans would have to take the first steps, if they are capable.
I want to ask something
Certainly.
else. What does a keeper do
A
exactly?
keeper is, first and foremost, the leader of the clan. He decides where we go and when we shall move. He's also responsible for knowing the clan's ancient lore and passing it on to the others in the clan. Without a keeper, the clan's knowledge is lost forever, so the clan protects him like no other.
Tell me more
I'm
about yourself.
hardly anyone special, I assure you. If I seem different from the rest of my clan, it's only because I was born amongst humans. I came to the Dalish at a very young age, but I've always retained my curiosity about the world I came from. As you
I
wish.
should go.
Darth Shirel.
Andera Natishan, stranger. I am Athras. I hope the others have not been too harsh in their treatment of you.
I don't
That is
mind, I
very
understand.
generous of you. Most would assume we are unkind as a rule, and that is not the case. Especially not to a Grey Warden. But we have lost much, and it is easy to forget simple niceties at such a time. I understand you will search for the wolves in the Brazilian forest. I would join you, but Zathrian has forbidden me.
Forbidden you?
We are banned from entering the forest now. I have more cause than most, but I will not disobey my keeper.
Why do you want to enter
That
the
is a
forest?
tale I am not sure I should tell an outsider. Surely you have greater concerns than my problems, stranger.
please. I'd like to
It's
hear
odd
about
to
it.
talk so freely with a stranger, but perhaps you can help me. My wife Delilah and I both fought the werewolves in the ambush. She was injured so gravely, the curse spread rapidly in her. Zathrian fought hard to ease her pain, but there was little he could do. And though he says that Delilah is dead, he will not let me see her body. I am beginning to believe she became a werewolf, and that it is being kept from me so I do not go chasing after her. If I could just know if Delilah is alive, or what happened to her, then I could be at peace.
I will seek her out in the forest.
I have an amulet made by our craftsman. It's not much, but I would be happy to give it to you in return for any news.
Hope you don't mind if I take all your money.
I'm sorry, but I must attend to our ailing fallen.
We few wanderers greet you, Shemlin. We understand you are venturing into the haunted forest to save our brethren. I suspect your efforts may be in vain. An entire group of our hunters went into the forest to do as you intend, and they have not returned.
If I'm lucky, maybe I
An
can find her.
outsider to the rescue, but of course. What were we doing trying to solve our own problems?
I'm just trying to help
Nothing
your
will help
people.
us now. Least of all, the meddling of an outsider.
You are being most unkind, Cyril. Would you refuse our hunters' help simply because of the hand that offered it?
You shame me, Lethalan. I have allowed my bitterness to cloud my better judgment. Forgive me, Grey Warden. It is most difficult to forget the lessons the Shemlin have taught us. Perhaps I can yet make amends. Stay while I spin a tale for our children. And then I will tell you of the forest if you desire.
Yes,
Come and
I'd like
join
that.
us then, all of you. Now, what say we tell the story of the fall of the Dales? Which of you children knows that best?
I think I do.
Yes? Then come, child. Oh, don't be frightened of the outsiders. Now, where do you suppose such a tale should begin?
When we were slaves?
Yes. Long ago, our people were slaves to an empire the Shemlin had built on the darkest magic. They took away our history and our language and left us nothing. And then that empire fell. We were freed.
Because Andraste came with her army, and Shartan joined her.
Yes. Andraste, the Shemlin prophet, came out of the south and challenged the Tevinter Imperium. Our ancestor, Shartan, fought at her side. And when the rebellion came to an end, we were given a new homeland in the west, the Dales. We began to rebuild the culture and history we had lost in our years of slavery. We worshipped the creators and made the Dales our home. Perhaps you know what happened next, stranger. Do you know what happened to the Dales?
No, I really
Could
couldn't
not
say.
say or will not. What do you say, child? Can you tell us what happened to the Dales?
The Shemlin wouldn't let us be.
Indeed. They resented that we would not worship their maker, and they resented our ways because they were so different from their own. The Shemlin nations grew cold towards the Dales. They called us blasphemers and tyrants, and declared war upon us, a great crusade.
Not every human felt that way,
And
I'm
which
sure.
is worse? The actions of those who believed they were right, or the inaction of those who knew they were wrong? Oh, I am certain we played a part in our downfall. We believed that the Shemlin would not revoke their prophet's gift so lightly. We were wrong. They took our lands, forcing us to abandon our gods and live as beggars in Shemlin cities. But there were those of us who refused to abandon our ways. They emblazoned the symbols of the creators upon their flesh and vowed to keep their ancient lore alive.
That's us. That's the Dalish.
Indeed, child. We chose to wander, homeless, rather than be ruled by the Shemlin. And all our clans wander alone until the day we have a homeland once more.
Then we bring the old ways back to our people, because they have forgotten it all.
For we are the Dalish, the keepers of the lost lore.
The walkers of the lonely path.
We are the Elvenan, and never again shall we submit. And that is the tale of the Dales, stranger. Thank you for allowing us to tell it to you.
Perhaps you'll allow me to tell a story as well?
Perhaps another time. You are the guest here, and one who may yet prove of great help to our ailing hunters. Now, as I said I would, I can tell you what I know of the Brecilian forest. Do you wish to hear it?
Yes, tell me
Our
of the
legends
forest.
say that before the Shemlin came, the Brecilian forest was a place of our ancestors that predated even our oldest homeland. The people of the Imperium came here and gave the forest its name. If they found traces of our ancestors, we cannot say. If they did, those elves were slain or enslaved. We know only that a great many battles were fought here. These trees grow upon the graves of those who fell, Shemlin and elves both. So much death in one place tore the veil into the beyond. The Shemlin know the beyond as the Fade, the place of dreams and spirits. When the veil is torn, spirits pass into our world freely. The legends say that one great spirit possessed the wolf that became Witherfang, who passed its curse of rage onto men and created werewolves.
So there are many spirits
The forest
in the
is
forest?
said to be haunted. Spirits possess the trees, the wolves, even the bodies of the dead. They yearn for true life, you see.
There were battles in
Who
the
can
forest?
say what value the Imperium placed on this land? And how many elves died here, in slavery? Even the barbarians, who came to overthrow the Imperium, fought and died on this soil.
How many werewolves
No
are
one
there?
knows. When the Shemlin lived in these parts, the curse would spread anew to a few of them with each passing year. They would run off into the forest, never to be seen again. Eventually, all the Shemlin left. One assumes the werewolves survive by passing their curse to their offspring. They have had no new blood. Until now, that is.
Have the hunters become
It is said
werewolves?
that one or two have turned already, though the Keeper denies it. As for the rest, they will either die or turn, unless they are killed out of mercy. I would rather die than become a ravening, soulless beast. Wouldn't you?
This Witherfang still exists
So
today?
Zathrian insists. He says that Witherfang does not age as the werewolves do. Witherfang is as much spirit as it is beast, and thus it is immortal. Perhaps it cannot even be slain. At the very least, it is old and powerful, much as Zathrian himself.
That's all I
One
need
last
to know.
warning. The forest is like a thing alive. It changes as it wills, closing paths behind you and opening up new ones. Too many have become lost
great, a
within,
forest maze.
unable to find their way out. Were I you, I would endeavor not to make the forest my enemy.
Hello?
Hello yourself, who are you?
I'm Kamen. hunter apprentice. Though I wish I could become a real hunter.
Why can't you?
Shouldn't be talking about this to an outsider. You wouldn't understand.
Try me, I might surprise you.
I suppose there's no harm in it. It's not like you can help me. I've been an apprentice for too long. To become a true hunter, I must bring back the pelt of a beast I killed myself. A boar or a wolf or something. I wanted to hunt in the forest, but we're forbidden to enter because of the attack. But the real problem is Gaina.
She's
my heart's desire. I have asked for her hand, but she cruelly refuses it. She will not bond with an apprentice, she says, and calls me a child. I am no child. If I was a hunter, I could prove it, but I cannot hunt, and Gaina will never bond with me. I feel so helpless. I shouldn't have brought it up. Just leave me to my misery.
There must be some way to solve your problem.
I haven't thought about this. There's nothing I can do.
Perhaps I could talk to Gaina for you.
I suppose you could, but what good would that do? The situation hasn't changed.
I can be pretty persuasive.
Really? I'm willing to try anything.
I can't hurt.
Iranas, oh mas Iranas, I will pray to the goddess of love that you are successful.
I never thought I'd ever set foot in a Dalish camp.
Ooh, Fenrirel the Dreadwolf. They say he didn't care for your people. Interesting.
Anathara, Grey Warden.
I thought a Shem would be uglier. You're not so ugly.
Gee, thanks.
Allow me. I could do that for you. It's done.
There are places where those horns bring huge prices. Can cure diseases, so they say.
Who comes? Oh, I beg your pardon, stranger. I was so busy attending to the Hala, I did not hear your approach. My name is Alora. I am the Master Herder in charge of caring for the Hala. Not as exciting as being a Grey Warden, but the Hala are vital to us.
What is a
They are
Hala?
the noble beasts that pull our Aravel. What humans call landships. They are our companions and our guides.
You make them
That
sound
is
like
exactly
friends.
what they are, in fact. We ride the Hala, but never with reins or a saddle. It is the Hala who decide where to lead us, and our privilege that they take our Aravel with them. In return, it's the herder's job to speak to the Hala and care for their needs. It's a bond of friendship, and not servitude.
So why have you separated this one from the
I
others?
fear she may have been bitten during the werewolf attack. I have tried speaking with her, but she is too agitated for me to understand. The curse would not affect her as it would us, but it would still be lethal. And it may prove contagious to the other Hala as well. I can find no wound on her, but if she's truly ill, then I will have to put her out of her misery. For her sake, as well as that of the others.
Is there anything I can do to help?
Do you have any skills that might help her? If you do, I would be grateful. Yes, that's it. She's calming down. That's it, love. Be calm. Tell me what troubles you. Ah, I see. It is her life mate who is sick, not her. He was bitten on the leg during the attack, and she fears greatly for him. I did not realize another Hala was injured. This will allow me to prevent the sickness from spreading to the entire herd. Masiranus, thank you. You have done my clan a great boon this day. I will always be grateful for your help.
What are you doing? You've warped the wood completely. Did you leave it out in the rain?
No, Master Ferrothorn. I think I just used too much heat.
You're not smelting ore like a Durgenlin. This is living wood. It requires patience and delicate hands, not more heat.
My actions bring me sorrow, Master Ferrothorn.
And so they should. Truly the art will be lost to us forever at this rate. Throw away your dead wood and start anew, and I shall speak to our guest. Now then, please forgive my distraction, stranger. Is there something that you need?
What exactly do you
I'm
make
the
here?
clan's craftsmaster. It's my responsibility to learn what I can of the ancient elven arts of shaping wood and ore. In truth, we Dalish know little of the art compared to what we once did. And even what we know has taken us many lifetimes to achieve. There is wood that, if treated properly, is as hard as steel but far lighter. It grows only in this forest. Ironbark. The Keeper has forbidden us from entering the forest to collect the wood. This means I cannot make our finest crafts for years to come.
What if I found some iron bark
I
for
would be
you?
hesitant to ask it of you, but if you should come across iron bark, I suppose there would be no harm in gathering some. It is blue and very distinctive. You can only harvest the bark which has fallen off the tree for Mage. Now, if you find some, bring it to me, and I will craft it for you.
What kind of item
I
would you
excel
make?
in making blades from the iron bark, or perhaps a breastplate. Provided there's enough wood, that is.
Very well, I'll take a look when I'm in the
That would
forest.
please me. So long as our hunters come first.
I would like to barter.
I am
with
no
you.
merchant, but let us trade. Perhaps there's something here which will be of value to you.
Andaran Atishan, outsider.
You're a Gaina, correct? Cameron mentioned you.
Spoke to him? What did he say?
He said that you refused to give him your
Oh.
hand.
I don't expect an outsider to understand our ways, but I just can't bond with Kamen. He's been a hunter apprentice for over 2 years now, and he's yet to slay a proper beast. Each time he's tried, something has gone wrong. Perhaps the creators do not wish us to bond. I cannot bond with an apprentice hunter, can I?
If you love him, it doesn't matter what he is,
But
does it?
what if he never becomes a proper hunter? What will become of our family?
Why does everything depend
You
on
are
him?
right. As a woman, I must ensure that he believes in himself. All I've done is make him miserable. I know I cannot be like you, both woman and Grey Warden.
But I can be formidable in my own small way, can't I? Masiranas, thank you. You have helped me put this into perspective. I will go and speak to Kamen. Kamen, I have been a fool.
Gaina? What do you mean? Have you changed your mind?
I have. The outsider has helped me to see that I was wrong. I have made you miserable, and I should not have.
But what about my hunt?
I don't care about that. I know you will pass your hunt in time, and we will be happy. Us and our children.
Thank you, Gaina. You've made me a happy
Well,
man.
slow down a little.
I feel blessed by the gods today. We are both very grateful for the part you've played in bringing us together.
How marvelous you are. I am so happy.
This is so wonderful. Young love allowed to flourish.
Here, take this. It's been in my family for a very long time, but I hope it plays some part in your battle against the Darkspawn. It's the very least we could do.
Off into the werewolf-infested forest we go.
An interesting pet. On your guard.
This thing's gonna kill me.
One shall Here comes trouble. As you do.
just a Templar in here? Now I want to go back the other way. Make sure I get everything first.
The Watchwolves have spoken truly, my brothers and sisters. The Dalish and the human of all things do repay us for our attack, to put us in our place. What bitter irony.
You speak? I thought werewolves were savages.
We are beasts, but we are no longer simple and mindless. Let that thought chill your spine. You speak to Swift Runner. I lead my cursed brothers and sisters. Turn back now. Go back to the Dalish and tell them that you have failed. Tell them we will gladly watch them suffer the same curse we have suffered for too long. We will watch them pay.
I would prefer to talk to you. I
Was
really
it
know
not
harm.
Sathrian who sent you? He wishes only our destruction, never to talk.
You talk of Zathrian as if you know him.
We have never met, he and I. He would not survive the experience. I swear it.
Why exactly? Why do you hate him so
You know
much?
nothing, do you? Nothing of us, and even less of those you serve. You are a fool, and we are done talking. Run from the forest while you can. Run to the Dalish and tell them they are doomed.
I don't want to fight, but neither can I retreat.
I do not wish to fight you either, but we cannot trust you. Come, brothers and sisters, let us retreat. The forest has eyes of its own, and it will deal with intruders as it always has.
This should be easy enough.
Here's rabid werewolves. I just want to pick my elf root. Another one? Hello?
Who comes?
You're badly wounded. What happened
You were
to you?
sent to find Witherfang. Bring his heart. Attacked.
And Darren Atishan, Grey Warden. Our scouts saw you approaching and tell me you carried the body of one of our hunters with you. Ah, Dagon. He is wounded, but I think he will live.
I'm glad we were able to help him. Thank the Maker we returned to the Dalish in time. He must have watched over this man.
Masiranas, your help is appreciated. Come, Lethaline, let us take Dagon to the Keeper, and quickly. If we are lucky, we may still save him.
As you wish.
sense something drawing near.
manner of beast be thee that comes before this elder tree?
Can't you see me?
Ah, yes. I remember thy kind, so brief of life and all but blind to the peril you cause, the lives you take. Such chaos is sown within thy wake. Allow me a moment to welcome thee. I am called the Grand Oak, sometimes the Elder Tree.
The world is certainly full of marvelous, unexpected creations. Each day we see something that we never thought possible.
Wow.
And unless thou thinkst it far too soon, might I ask of thee a boon?
Sure, why not? What's this mean?
I have but one desire, to solve a matter very dire. As I slept one early morn, a thief did come and steal an acorn.
An acorn?
All I have is my being, my seed. Without it, I am alone indeed. I cannot go and seek it out, yet I shall die if left without.
Very well, I will help you.
Go to the east to find this man. I shall await. Do what thou can.
Forgot about this guy, he's pretty cool. Hello?
I do not think we made any progress. We could barely see our way through the mist, and now we are back at the beginning again.
Allow me. I could do that for you. What's next?
Hold on, you. That's private property. That's an old man's home, that is. Keep out. Keep out!
Okay.
Oh dear, oh dear. Not a werewolf and not a spirit even. What are the woods coming to?
Wait, are you the thief who took the Grand Oaks acorn?
Mayhap I did, and mayhap I didn't. Have you come to claim it back? Oh, what fun. But we are getting ahead of ourselves already. Ask a question and you'll get a question, but give an answer and you'll receive the same. Oh, I do so love to trade.
You want me to answer a question?
I have to ask you a question first.
Isn't that a question?
Would you know a question if it was asked?
I should certainly hope so.
That is not a question. And if it be an answer, it'd be an answer to a question I've not asked. Have you no sense for the rules?
Be careful, Grey Warden. This is no ordinary man. He is a mage. Driven mad, perhaps, but still powerful.
No fair bringing mages to a guessing game. Will you play by the rules or not?
Then would you like to ask me a
I
question?
think it is your turn to ask, is it not?
How do I enter the center of the
It's where
forest?
the wolfmen have their lair, but the trees will block the path. There's a way to fool the trees, of course. Trees are thick, wooden things, after all, easily fooled if you know how.
And you know how, don't you?
I know, that's quite a question. I think that answer deserves something a little extra first, don't you? I stole something from an oak tree some time ago, and it won't stop pestering me for it back. Would you be so good as to turn it into firewood or something equally dead?
Are you talking about the
You
rotting
know of
oak?
it? Good, that makes this much easier. Yes, that's the one.
I'm not going to kill some oak tree because you
It's
asked
up
me
to
to.
you. Yes, indeedy. Your choice. Time to move on now.
Do you want to ask me
I
another
think
question?
it is your turn to ask, is it not?
Do you have the Grand Oaks acorn?
Suddenly it all becomes clear. You hear that talking tree there? It all makes sense now. As a matter of fact, yes. I do have that tree's acorn. I stole it, and it was easy. Silly tree should have locked it up tighter. If you want it, you'll have to trade me for it. And nothing from that silly tree. No leaves or branches or anything. But that's all I have to say about that. An answer for an answer. There you go. May I? Oh, yes, I think I might. Now, what shall be the first? Oh, yes. What is your name?
You may call me Becky.
So you claim. They sent you, didn't they? But you're too tricky, and you're trying to fool me. Well, I'm on to you, just so you know. But it is your turn to ask now. Ask. Ask away, I dare you.
Who are
am
you?
I? Why do you want to know? Did they send you? Did they tell you to ask?
Who's they?
Oh, did they tell you to pretend to be an innocent stranger with a head full of fluff and nothing? I'm trickier than I look. I survive still, and the trees, they leave me be. I've won. They will never find me. Never.
And what if I tell them
Then
you're
I
here?
would hide again. The forest. It would get them first, it would. They will never find me. Never. But that's all I have to say about that. An answer for an answer. There you go. May I? Oh, yes, I think I might. Where were you born?
I actually have no idea where my character was born. Be from high ever, far to the east.
So you say, fiendishly clever of you to maintain this facade for so long, but I will see through it yet. Mark my words. But it is your turn to ask now. Ask. Ask away, I dare you.
Do you have anything
Let's
to trade?
see. I'll trade you an acorn, a helmet I found, or a book I finished reading years ago, provided you have something interesting in return.
I want to trade for the acorn.
And what do you have to trade for the acorn?
How about some
coin? What possible use could I have with coin? Do you see a money changer about?
How about this book on elven history?
You say? That might make for good reading by the moonlight. Or it'll be better than using leaves. Give me that. There. Now that's done. What else have you got on your agenda, May I? Oh, yes, I think I might. Let's see. Do you have a knowledge of the arcane arts?
Yeah.
If I could tell, I wouldn't have to ask you now, would I? Do you have the knowledge or not?
Yes, I do.
I knew that. Or did I? I forget now. But if you are a mage, that means that they sent you. Or does it? Drat. But it is your turn to ask now. Ask. Ask away, I dare you.
So you live in this dump?
Yes, I live here, and it's not as bad as you think. Where else to go, eh? I must stay away from them. They're out there and looking. They will take your secrets, oh yes, all of them, and leave you empty. But that's all I have to say about that. An answer for an answer. There you go. May I? Oh yes, I think I might. What is your relationship with your father?
My father and I get along just fine.
Interesting. Most interesting. So that means that you did indeed have a father. I knew I would trip you up sooner or later. But it is your turn to ask now. Ask. Ask away, I dare you. Oh, yes. Yes. I still have that old helmet and the book. And what do you have to trade for the book? Coin? What possible use could I have with coin? Well, that's your business then, isn't it? I still answered your question, and now it's my turn again. May I? Oh, yes, I think I might. Have you ever seen the Grand Cathedral of Val Royo?
No, of course not. Val Royo is 1,000 miles away.
I've always wondered what it looked like. Oh, well, it was worth a question. Your turn.
I don't have anything to ask.
Well, you just let me know if you change your mind. Run along and tell them whatever you wish. I intend to keep digging. Nah! Don't you have any manners whatsoever? Were you raised by a rodent?
Here I am. What now?
Okay, I think that's where I'm gonna leave it for tonight, and I'll try to this guy again next time. Alright, thank you for watching, and have a good night.